Yeah, welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking Channel. I'm Darren. Today, I'm going to do something really different. I know I say that all the time, but today, it's true. I'm going to do faux dry aging experiment with red boat fish sauce and a 17-pound prime Costco brisket. All right, I'll be right back.
Smoking, grilling, getting hot and hotter, sous vide and chilling from fire and water.
Okay guys, I had this brisket sitting in the freezer. We've got a potluck coming up next week. I figured, you know what, I've been seeing some of the faux dry aged experiments going on. Guga did one over on Sous Vide Everything, and it's been talked about a lot in the Facebook Sous Vide groups. So I'm going to go ahead and try it out myself. I've never done it before. I never bought fish sauce in my life until now. So I got the red boat fish sauce that everybody seems to think is the best to use in the Facebook groups. It's either the fish sauce or the fish sauce salt or whatever. So I'm going to use this red boat fish sauce and then just my regular beef rub of salt, pepper, garlic. Let me get this out of the package, it trimmed up, and I'll be right back. Well, all right, guys, I'm back, and I've got the brisket trimmed up. And what I did is I went ahead and trimmed up pretty much all the fat cap, the big piece of deckle fat that's in between the point and the flat. You know, the part that when you see people after they cook the brisket on YouTube and they squeeze it and you see all that fat running out of the middle, that's deckle fat. It really doesn't break down that well when you're cooking it. They do that just to see the juices flowing out, thinking that the meat's juicy. Well, the fat's just juicy, not the meat. So that's usually right in between here. So I cut most of that out. And this here's the point section on top, and I got the flat on the bottom. You can still see I still have some flat fat on there, just not a lot. So here's the, see the flat section here, and this bottom part's the point. So after reading a bunch of experiments and stuff about this process online, one of the big ones that a lot of people follow is the Kosher Dosher blog, and that's Lloyd. Can't pronounce his last name, begins with a C, Caparapcia. He's in a lot of the sous vide groups on Facebook, but he's done a lot of these faux aging with the fish sauce, so I'm going to kind of follow what he did to some extent. One of the things I read was make sure you wear gloves when doing this, because that fish sauce is really stinky, and if you get it all over your hands, it's hard to get off. So I am going to follow that, and I am going to use a use a basting brush to put it on. I'm just going to what I'm going to do with this is just baste it on as a coating. You know, more like what you would do using mustard or Worcestershire sauce or something like that as a binder. So it doesn't seem like it takes a lot of it. So I'm just going to hit this with a basting brush, and then I'm going to put the beef rub on there, just the salt, pepper, and garlic, and then we're going to bag it up. So I'm going to go ahead and get this basted up with the fish sauce. I'm not going to bore you with that. I'll be back when it's done. All right, guys, I got it all put on there, and it doesn't smell too nice. I mean, I can tell you that. It does have its unique little odor here, and I've pretty much just got a nice base layer of it on there. I used about a quarter of the bottle, and this is 17 ounces, so you can figure that out. And this was a 17-pound brisket. It's probably now about 11 pounds, because I did cut a bunch of fat off of there. It was a prime, so it did have a lot of fat in there. So now I'm going to go ahead and just do a little bit of my salt, pepper, and garlic. And I have an expandable food saver bag, you know, that's got the pleats to be able to fit this in. So as soon as I get done with doing this, just a nice little base layer, nothing too much, because I'm sure that fish sauce is salty. I haven't tasted it myself. But one of the people will ask, why would the fish sauce kind of age this some? And one of the reasons I can think of and looked at is it's, you know, packed full of amino acids. You know, pretty much what it is rotten fish. Fish just rots in a big old barrel and slowly turns into this sauce, and they strain it and all that. And kind of like soy sauce, you know, it's rotten soybeans and stuff. So, but it builds up the amino acids, concentrate. All right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this in the bag, and I will throw it in the refrigerator for about 7 days, and then I'll see you back then. All right. All it's all seasoned up, all vacuum sealed up in the big bag, and I'm going to put it on a rack on a sheet pan and just leave it in there for 7 days in the refrigerator, and then we will bring it out next week and cook it up and see how this bad boy turns out. So join me then. Hey all, welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking channel, and it's been 7 days, believe it or not. I put this brisket in there with the fish sauce on it, and it looks like it's been oxidized a little bit. I really can't tell just looking through the bag. But what I'm going to do before I toss this in the sous vide, I am going to sous vide this for about 12 hours at 155 so that I can chill it overnight and then toss it on the smoker in the morning for our potluck tomorrow afternoon. But one of the things I've been reading that I should do before I do that is to kind of rinse the fish sauce off and maybe do a little bit more, you know, re-season it again with the salt, pepper, and garlic. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of rinse this thing off just to get that fish sauce off of there so it's not cooking it into the meat during the sous vide cook. So I'm going to use this same bag though. I'm going to try to just kind of reseal it here after I open it. So I'm going to kind of try to wash some of the fish sauce off the meat and out of the bag. I'm not going to bore you with doing that. I'll be back when I get that done. All right, I got it all cleaned up, back in the bag, stick it in the sous vide for 12 hours at 160. And as soon as it starts getting up close to time to take it out, I'm going to go ahead and light my Big Joe Kamado Joe. And we're going to use the IKamand by Kamado Joe today. That's a temp controller that connects to the bottom vent here. It's got a built-in fan, and I'm using the Wi-Fi. It will, you can use it from your iPad or your iPhone to control the temps of the unit. So I'll do an in-depth video of this later on, but there you go. I'll be back in a few. All right, it's been almost 3 hours now. We're gonna take a look. Haven't even opened up the lid since we left. So it's looking pretty good. Not quite as dark as I want it. But I'm going to crank the heat up for a couple minutes. It says it's right around 150 internal right now, so I want to get it up to like 160. So I'm going to crank the heat up around 275 or so for about 15 or 20 minutes. So I will be back. Well, here we go, guys. I got the point here on top, the flat here on the bottom. And I'm going to slice off a piece of the flat, I think, just to give it a taste. It's our dry, faux dry aged brisket. It doesn't look really black because I wasn't going for the, you know, overdone bark. But it does got a nice mahogany color here. And it's cutting pretty easy, so I know it's tender. It does have a little bit of a smoke ring to it here. Not a ton, but enough. It's still nice and warm. It's over 160, I know that. It's not dripping juice, but it's still juicy for a flat. Very tender, not chewy at all. I can't really taste any of the fish sauce dry aged stuff. I didn't use a whole lot of seasoning, just salt, pepper, and garlic, not a ton of it, but it does have some I don't know. It's not dry aged taste at all. It's nowhere the same as the 45-day dry aged brisket I did, that's for sure. It might have just a little bit dry aged type flavor, but is it worth it? I don't know. I'll have to try it on some steaks and roasts and other things, but not really, can't really tell that much different on the brisket here. But brisket's good. It's tender, juicy. Cut a piece off of the point here. You know, it's cooked all the way through. Definitely the point's a lot juicier than the flat. A little bit of crunch to it. Very good. But yeah, I really don't taste, you know, nowhere near the 45-day dry aged brisket. So if anything, it's more like a wet aged with just maybe just a tiny tad, a little bit of taste of that fish sauce. So, but it's good. I'm going to cut this up and we're going to a potluck. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you got something out of this video. Make sure you like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check out the Fire and Water podcast on iTunes, Google Podcasts, anywhere you have podcasts. Make sure you subscribe, like, share this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks again.